Okay, so let's start with Sarah and Judas.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah says no at the altar.
Love it.
Love it. She says, I've always wanted a partner on the same wavelength. We've talked a lot about our values. Today it's a no, but I do love you.
You know, I took my notes and I felt like wavelength. That felt really, she really said something with that.
Yeah, that was shady.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. It's like talking around, but we know exactly what she's talking about at the same time.
Yeah.
And him immediately bringing it to, well, I love you and I hope we can keep growing on our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then her
She's
being
like,
we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I know.
We'll see about that.
Which we need to come back to that. We'll see. Because it comes up in the reunion. Yeah. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I also love that she said, I loved everything about him except his politics. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing that's been interesting about this season for me is like the way that they're treating politics as if it's something separate from the person. Right. Like my politics are who I am, right?
Through and through.
Like,
through and through.
That is if you boil it down, what I believe about how other people should be treated, how our money should be spent, who should have access, who exists, who matters, all of that is like such a huge part of me. But on the show, it's like, I love everything about him, except the fact that he hates my sister, doesn't believe she should have any rights, is a conservative Christian, and fucking sucks. But other than that, I love everything about him.
Right. Yeah, we spoke about that privilege of particularly white women that they can compartmentalize. You know, I love him for these reasons, but I'm gonna put the politics over on this side. We can't do that because we know how our values and our politics are so deeply entrenched together.
Yeah.
So it was very, I think for a lot of the season, infuriating watching Sarah try to like separate the two and play into her privilege in a way. She can do that. We can't, you know?
I wonder also if it's like a Midwest thing because it's like such,
I was
like
wondering that
more
too.
like purple city than like I live in LA, you guys are in New York. And it's just like, I don't have to pussyfoot around like people's politics in that way. Like it's like it's something that I just sort of like assume about people for the most part, and if it comes up I'm like oh great, I don't really need to fuck with that person, whereas I think maybe there it feels like you're bumping up against people who have different
More
politics, so like if you want to have relationships with anybody, like whether it's your coworker or your boyfriend or whatever, like you have to separate, because Virginia does the same thing too.
That does make sense. They're more in a mixed bag of as you said, a purple area.
Yeah.
They probably have family members. Well, you know, they've probably had family members their whole life prior to Trump that were on the other side. And for the sanctity of keeping any relationship, they got to learn how to like coexist.
Yeah. It's like Sarah's sister when she found out she was fiscally conservative and socially liberal. She was like, you are?
Yeah. Say what now?
I had no idea.
Now, Sarah in her interview, she also mentions, you know, politics and religion or whatever, but she also mentions the vaccine. Y'all heard that? Okay, y'all heard that. I said, wait a second now. Are we still talking vaccines?
That's a whole other thing.
Because you're now a conspiracy theorist. You're over there.
Exactly.
Like, I'm good.
To me, I think I could fuck with someone who didn't believe in gay rights before I could fuck with someone who didn't believe in the vaccine.
It's easier to turn them, right? That's like a way easier switch.
I just, the vaccine is like, oh, you're actually deep.
Yep. Oh yeah. Deep. You're like a flat earther. That's
being like, I never thought about black people as a white guy. I'm like, okay, like maybe I could make you think about that. But being like, I believe that science doesn't work, and like they're injecting me with
whatever they say.
You're gone. You're gone. It's bye-bye cuckoo.
Can't work with that.
No, cannot. Will not.
Cannot work with that. I was like, damn, that too? Like that.
No, I was like, damn, is he a 5G-er?
Probably.
Well, where was he on January 6th is what we need to be asking.
That's a whole other question.
Yeah, probably watching his friends on FaceTime. God damn it.
So she mentions the vaccine, and then she said kind of fundamentally there was no curiosity from his side. Yeah. And she knows better. Actions speak louder than words. And even the little few weeks that they were together, he was not showing any action to show that he actually cares to like grow in this area, as he kept saying he wanted to.
I love how she said he never asked me any questions.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, he wasn't even curious about what I thought.
Yeah.
And that in itself was very disturbing.
Yeah. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
No. Bored of, probably because she's a woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't care. If one of his friends from church said that, who's a man, he'd probably take it a little bit more seriously than if she said it as a woman. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You don't take the vaccine? My God, now I know. Now I already know where you're going. You want her to be like down with 8 kids. He probably thinks that she's not even fertile because of the vaccine. He probably thinks like crazy shit about her.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad she was seeing all of this, because that like we saw this from the pods, like these empty words that he gave her, and she hung on to them. But now, finally, at the end, she's like, "Okay, actions speak louder than words." Remember that. That is a basic principle. I need to remember that. Yeah,
I felt like the editing of this couple was sort of deceptive, like because they really let her look like.
Oh yeah,
she
was her up.
She was just like didn't care at all, and just was like, I have to say these things so that like I can say them. But I do think like she clearly was grappling with it, and like I've heard a lot of people be like, well, why did she even take him out of the pods? And I actually think that's okay that she did, because I think she genuinely thought he might show curiosity, and like he said he was willing to learn, and like how would she know? Until she that he wasn't like if she had just cut it off I mean, I wouldn't have blamed her if she just cut it off when he was like, I don't think about Black Lives Matter or whatever. But the fact that she took him out of the pods didn't bother me. I was like, that makes sense. Like she's trying. She's like she likes this guy. She's trying to see what's up. And I think they kind of did her dirty with the edit to make it look like she would bring these things up and then like they just go have sex, because they were the only couple that was having sex.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
We know that they had sex in Honduras.
Yeah, they really didn't show any of her grappling. At all. They really set her up in the edit in that way, because now in the end it all is revealed that she really was grappling, it seems, with all of this. And I get it. She took him out the pods. Everybody has a higher threshold for working on people, right? Like in her head, she's like, we can work on this together. He has potential. You know, he can grow in these areas. So that's on her. That's her prerogative. Do you, girl? Yeah. But yeah, it does seem in the end that she really was kind of going through it. And yeah, we didn't get any of that. We didn't get to see any of that. So anyways, we have Judas in his interview. He just doubling down. I was myself the whole time. I can't think of any way I would have operated differently. We see him praying with his friends.
The bro prayer.
Of course. Oh my God.
Also, did you guys catch they were drinking beer with they had like the beer they were drinking had their faces on it. They had like put like a cover around it for like the wedding, and so afterwards like during it was like a label, and so afterwards while they were doing the prayer they were like drinking out of these beer bottles with their faces on it, but they didn't get married. I was like, this is so weird, because they were enjoying the reception. That didn't happen.
Yeah. That's always awkward.
And they are that couple too, to put their faces on koozies and have it be like the gift for the people.
Oh my God,
as if people want that. Like,
oh
my God.
I hate a personalized little get cheap shit, you know?
Yeah. Like
immediately
merch.
Yes. Merch for your wedding. Please, let's stop doing this. I hate it. Sarah said in her interview too, she was kind of discussing the prospect of dating him after the show. And she's like, you know, I don't want to be in the cycle of hoping that he'll change, which is interesting to discover, because during the reunion it seems like she got back into the cycle of hoping that he would change, and he immediately fucks her over. So should have listened to your gut, girl.
Yep.
But yeah, that was that. Shout out to Sarah's sister and Sarah's sister's partner, who got the chirping in her ear and made sure that this ended in this way. I think they were very instrumental in that. Yes.
MVPs.
The MVPs. Okay, Monica and Joey.
Shock.
This was surprising. Yeah. So Monica, she's with her family getting ready. She says, which I want to ask you guys about. She says Joey is very analytical. He's not emotional. So it's hard for me to trust his words. Are you, from your partners, are your partners more analytical or emotional? And does that have any bearing on how you trust their words? Did this make any sense to you?
No.
Confused. Yeah.
No, because being analytical would make me trust someone's
them
words.
more.
Yeah, like I thought
that means
someone was
they're careful with their
emotional.
words.
Yeah, someone's really emotional. I'd be like, they can be really emotional. They're really in their feelings. So sometimes what they say in the moment isn't really what they mean. They need time to reflect.
Right.
So I wouldn't trust someone's words who's really emotional. My husband is definitely on the analytic side, and he doesn't talk for like a whole year, and then he'll be like, I've been thinking about this, and then he'll finally come to the table. Like, and I'm like, wait, what are we talking about? That was 6 months ago. Like he's really like slow to process. So when he does have something to say, like who can get it worded edgewise with me? But when he does, I'm usually like, yes, I hear what you're saying. This sounds like something you've given thought to. I don't know what she was talking about. He also didn't seem analytical to me at all.
Either from
he longboarded down the aisle.
He longboarded into the venue. He longboarded down the aisle. Like, we get it. You longboard. Cool. Like, stop.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I feel like for me, it just was very clear that she does not have this person figured out at all.
No.
She doesn't really know Joey, even the way she's characterizing him, analytical. I mean, she probably knows him more than we, so we don't know, But at this final hour, I was like, I feel like she still doesn't know this man. She really shouldn't get married to him. And I went in thinking that they would say yes, but as she said this, I was like, I don't think this is good. I don't think she really understands who this guy is.
Yeah.
So yeah, she, of course, going in was very unsure. She said he hadn't been very reassuring to her at all. He's not been very romantic or touchy-feely. Like, she was going in basing her decision on what he was going to do because she felt like she didn't have enough, validation or had any inkling of what he was going to do anyways. Which is never a good position to be in.
No, that's like Micah.
Yeah, Micah and what's his name?
Micah and Paul.
Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, basing your decision on what they're about to do. That's not good.
I feel like, to your point, Natasha, like this one, I think leading up to the wedding, I was like, oh, they're going to say yes or whatever. And then at the wedding, I was like, whoa, we're getting information that feels not like this is the relationship I had been shown for the previous 11 episodes.
For the past 11 hours of my life.
We were receiving like novel information that were like, why didn't we know this before?
Right. Like the fact that they had like never had sex or like didn't really have physical connection. And like, I had read their relationship as like a couple who is friendly like that, not that they had friend zoned each other.
Yeah.
Because they had presented it to me as if they were like, it didn't feel like what I saw was, I was like, oh, who am I to judge? Some people are just friendly. Like, even the reveal, like they were just like giggling the whole time. I was like, oh, these are just like silly people. Like, don't really like whatever. They're not like super sexual people. And then come to find out, like, no, this is off for both of them. Like that started to come out during the finale. And I was like, oh, or during the weddings or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like when her friend was asking her, like, what was the first kiss like? And she's like, oh, I was having sensory overload. I don't really remember. And he's like, well, have you kissed since?
Yeah.
It was just like everybody knew.
Yeah, I think so. Now when you look back at it, it's like, okay, yeah, we see. This was never really a fit.
Yeah, I feel like, Natasha, you clocked it from when they met. You were like, these people are going to be friends.
Friend vibes, yeah.
Yeah.
Joey, in his interview going in, he was saying the sister not giving her, she said she gave her blessing, but not her support or something like that. Like the sister was still an issue for him, like not getting the full support.
Grow up with these sisters. That should have been my lessons learned. Should your older sister run your life? As we see with Dave and with Ms. Monica. Like, what is this? Grow up. So what? The sister doesn't like you. Deal with it. Like, what? Oh my God.
It does suck though. Knowing that Monica, her sister's her best friend or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And her best friend's in her ear chirping like, I don't know. Like that would give me pause too.
But now maybe the sister was onto something.
Right.
Yeah,
clearly
she was.
She was. She knew better actually than anybody. So but yeah, Joey's getting support from his mom, his sisters, his dad came in, gave support. Like everybody's like rooting this on. Something I also want to call out that the dad said that I want to get you guys' opinion on. He said, as far as weddings go, marriage, what really is normal? Kind of saying like this whole process is crazy. Like, who cares? And then he says, if you're honest, no one really is ready. Is that true? People say with kids,
so.
You're never ready. True. But with marriage, you think that's true?
Yeah. I mean, my 10-year wedding anniversary is this month.
Oh my God.
So I will say, I thought I was ready at the time. And like, but so much happens in life. Like you never really know. Like think about who you were 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I met my spouse. I was 24. Oh, right. Wow. Like, so like I was ready at the time and I don't think that I would have undone it. But also now looking back, I'm like, was I ready? Like, who knows? Right.
Yeah, I think the same. I think, too much life happens.
I feel different. I feel like with kids, I get it when people say like, you never, get pregnant. You're never going to be ready, whatever, just kind of do it. But with marriage, I feel like it's more definitive.
I feel kids?
I think with kids, like even me right now, I'm about to get pregnant. I don't know if I'm ever going to be ready, but we're trying, we're going to do this process, right? But with marriage, I felt so confident in it. I feel like when he proposed to me, I could have said yes, or we could have got married that next day. Like I kind of just knew, like for me, I was ready. I understand marriage is a whole new process beyond just being boyfriend and girlfriend. But I don't think of it as this, well, no one's really ready type of thing. It's like if we're talking proposals, we're talking about joining our lives together. I think there's a semblance of like readiness. I don't know. That's just my personal experience.
I see that too. I mean, I don't know. I just think, I hear what you're saying. I definitely think I was more ready to get married than I was to have kids. That not. I'm still not
still getting ready.
Kids
still
not ready. 5 years old. So.
Yeah, they're going to school.
So anyways, we go into the wedding. Joey, as we said, rides in on his skateboard. And I was like, all this showboating, this nigga better be saying yes. Nope. All of this.
I mean, it was like, even, okay, I don't know if you guys clocked this, but even the outfits, like Joey and his friends were wearing like Hawaiian shirts and like baby blue suits and like, just like, it looked like such a joke. They're playing football. They're just like goofing off. And then you cut to her family. They're all in black tie outfits. They're all in black gowns. Like they're going to this formal wedding. Joey and his friends are going to a fucking Jimmy Buffett concert. I'm like, what is happening? Like we're on two totally like Joey and his friends are having a great time. She's having like getting grilled.
Existential crisis. Yeah.
Yes, she's like reflecting on the relationship and his friend's like, can I throw you a diver? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
It was so weird.
Yeah. I could see her seeing how like lax he takes everything seemingly. I could see her being very like, I don't know, actually, when he's serious, because he doesn't take anything serious. So
which is the opposite of analytical. That's what I was like, analytical girl.
Yeah,
which he's also not analyzing shit.
He probably was telling her that, like, I'm thinking, like, and like when they were alone. And like they were like supposed to be hooking up or like talking about the future. He probably was saying to her, I'm just thinking so much about this. And like instead of being honest with her, he probably was hiding behind, he was thinking things through. And so she took that to be like, he's analytical. You know what I mean?
He is. Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay.
Being what happens.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So they both say in their vows, I wouldn't want to do this process with anyone else, which is very much a precursor for they're going to say no.
Yeah. The vow sounded like an ending from both of them.
This has been a great journey. I couldn't have done this with anyone else. Like, you already know where it's headed. So obviously they make Monica go first, even though she wanted to lean on what he was going to say first. So I'm glad they put her in that position to give her true answer. And she said, I don't know right now. And I feel like we're not quite there. He agrees. They hug it out. Everyone cheers.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Like they were the couple that were like, everything is so fine. Like this is a sure thing. And then it just all kind of falls apart in the end. Let me see. Joey in his exit interview again doubled down saying the sister was a huge factor he said both of them, not just him, for both of them. Yeah. And then also him not being physically affectionate enough. He also reveals that she said, "I love you," at the altar, and that was the first time he'd heard it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's both of them are guilty of not giving either person validation. Mm-hmm. That was Monica's like whole thing, but Joey also wasn't getting much validation from her, it seems. So I think they were just being very close-lipped about their feelings, and they both were going in like,
do you think she didn't say it because he hadn't said it? Like she was feeling his hesitation.
They're probably both doing that. Yeah. I could see that for sure. So yeah, that's Joey and Monica.
Yep.
Bye-bye. All right, Virginia and Devin. I feel like the whole lead up was like a bit almost sinister in a way, because you see both of these families trying to make this happen.
Oh yeah,
both moms, both sisters, everyone is like, this is the best guy ever. And you could see in Virginia's face the entire time that she is sad, and she wasn't with it, but they were trying to really get it done.
Like she like when
she was at her funeral,
when his family comes in and is talking to her, and she's like, thank you. She's like, get the fuck out of here. Who let this bitch in here?
Yes.
Out of here.
Yeah. Yes. You could see it on her face the whole time, but everyone's ignoring it because they want to make this marriage happen.
Like, in that really high register and like really like almost like, I don't know. It was like she was on the verge of crying the whole time.
Holding back tears. Yep. The whole day. Yeah. So Devin's with his family, still talking very vague. You know, we had tough conversations, you know, politics, prenup, but, you know, we don't have to be aligned and we've figured it out. So he really he's not trying to do none of this on camera.
Oh,
he's not trying to expose himself at all. Just keeps it there. Now, Virginia, as we said, her girls are raving about Devin. The mom's raving about Devin. Devin's mom and sister come over raving about her. Like, everybody's just team Devin and Virginia. We've never seen you this happy. They're like telling her these things, like to try to get her to believe it when she knows in her heart she don't believe it. She has been happier than this. She's actually
one
quite
of the worst days of her life.
Yeah. So she puts on her dress. She looks beautiful, but then she can't stop crying.
Beautiful. Is she the most beautiful bride we've ever had on the show? Her dress, I thought, was she's just gorgeous. I mean, speaking of dresses,
in the dress.
Let me just say this as the only parent currently on this podcast. If I had a daughter and I was the mother of the bride and I show up and the mother of the groom is wearing the same fucking color and dress as me, it's murder. Okay, I'm the mother of the bride. God damn it! Yes,
really?
They were both the moms wearing those like champagne sparkly dresses.
Champagne.
I'm just like, listen, Devin's mom. Okay. So sorry, but there's not anything called mother of the groom. It's mother of the bride. Mother of the bride is second most important person. Bride, mother of the bride, groom, everyone else. Okay. So I reserve the right to wear champagne, and you can find another dress. I was not okay with what had happened.
So the moms got to coordinate.
Either they agreed to go in together,
my mother-in-law coordinated,
or mother of the bride usurps mother of the groom. You can't be wearing the same outfit by accident.
Yeah, for sure. That's such a characteristic of Devin's mom, though. She is.
Cannot wait to get to the end.
That lady is the worst.
Also, Devin's hair, my guy.
Devin's hair.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He
what
just
is this?
nobody black is around him.
No help. But he did. But then his room, all the dudes with him were a bunch of black dudes. So like he clearly had black guy friends. I'm like, oh, your friends hate you? Yeah. Like, why are they letting you look like this on TV? I guess.
I think they're all conservative. I think
I think it's a specific type of black man.
But I don't feel like bad hair for black men is politically aligned. Right? Like, I don't know. I don't know a lot of black Republicans.
Oh, I do.
What kind of barbershop are they going to?
Exactly. Yeah,
that's my question.
I'm trying to think.
Who's cutting their hair?
Who are famous black Republicans? I don't. It's hard. I mean, Ben Carson. What's his face? Is bald, right? The guy from South Carolina.
And then the rest of the other one named,
isn't he?
Bald.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jason
he
Whitlock.
is. I don't. He's also bald. Yeah, Tim Scott. That's who it is. Tim Scott is bald.
Tim
right?
Scott.
He's bald.
That's true. Okay, so a lot of them don't have hair. Okay.
Don't have hair.
Snoop is. I mean,
Snoop.
Oh my God, Snoop.
I mean, his hair's not great. I know his hair has been a thing that he does, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, he's had hair longer than he's been Republican, I think.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. He had to figure it out for a little bit.
Okay, sorry, continue. We had to talk shit about Devin's hair. He deserved it.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Virginia walking down the aisle, she can barely look Devin in the face. She's crying so much.
Oh, God. She's doing that side turn, that head tilt. She got a mean head tilt on her.
Funeral march, for real. So yeah, he says I do, because why would he not say I do to Virginia? Look at her, and this is a huge upgrade for him. And she says, I love you so much, but I'm not ready.
Love it.
Everybody is shocked.
Yeah, I know.
They built this up.
So did she, because when she was at that wedding dress fitting, she was like, he's just the best guy. I'm just so happy to be with the best guy ever. Blah, 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 blah. She's 33 in Minnesota, okay? They are all so happy that this girl's getting married and having her fairy tale dream and whatever the fuck. So they're believing her.
Yeah.
So yeah, now they're like, what?
But I'm just like, did no one pick up on her energy when she was getting ready?
No.
That's what was crazy for me.
They believe what she said.
But she said days before. I'm talking just right when they were getting her ready for this for the wedding. Her energy was so down. Like, I thought it was so obvious that she was going to probably say no.
The relationship.
That she was grieving. Yeah, she was mourning something. Like, she was really going. It was not happy tears. They cannot say that those were happy tears.
Look happy.
But yet they were all shocked. Now, Devin's sister, we hear on camera say, I just don't understand these girls. She doesn't.
Was that the sister
him.
or the mom? Oh, okay.
That was the sister.
The sister and the mom, but the two of them.
Yeah, because the mom later, she was like, well, they're talking shit with Devin. You know, you found someone and now you're not ready.
How could you say you're not ready? You signed up for this process. Not when you know your son stole the money. when you expose your son stealing the money. Girl. I know you not talking about who's ready for marriage. Oh, Miss Ma'am. Oh, no.
She was so close to them grandbabies, though. She could feel, she could taste them. She was so mad that she ripped it away from them. So now we get Virginia giving us all the context in her confessional. So she said, a lot of our relationship, I wanted to protect Devin. I don't know if it was a cultural thing, but he really didn't want to talk politics on camera. He didn't want me to push on that topic at all. And so she's almost saying she wanted to protect this representative that he wanted to give, right? But at the end of the day, she's like, there were depths that we didn't get into. There were certain conversations that we just didn't have because he didn't want to go there. Not to mention our sexual relationship. So that too.
You can't be doing all this Republican shit, stealing from me, and you got weak dick. No, you cannot. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You can have everything.
How could you think you get away with that? Like,
I don't know.
What? You gotta at least be putting it at the very.
You have to at least have one of those. Either give me the money,
at least,
right? Or talk to me, or feed my brain with your political analysis. Yeah,
talk to me,
right?
Yes.
All three. I mean, Devin, all three.
His failure to come through on this one is the biggest fuck up in Love Is Blind history, I think. He could have had a bad bitch, okay? And he did not.
Yeah. Who's a doctor.
He fumbled
Who's a doctor on top of that.
He was at the end zone and he said, oops.
Big time.
It's like what, when they return the football and then they get all the end zone, they try to do a flip or whatever and they let go of the ball before they actually get into the end zone for the score. And you're like, Devin, that's you.
Yes.
She was with you. She wanted to be there and you were like, I can't talk about politics. Like, well then put it in her, okay? Let's light it up. Hello?
Like, you have to do something.
What are you doing
am I
besides
loving then?
allegedly coaching children's basketball at this point? Like, literally fucking nothing.
Exactly.
And she said too, it wasn't even just the difference in politics. It was more so his communication or his lack thereof around it.
The way he was asking, like she would be like, what do you think about this? And then he would be like, well, do you think it's okay? Like, yeah.
But not answer the question himself.
Never answer for himself. No.
Yeah. So Devin, to me, gave himself the ill setup. I don't know how he thought he was going to be able to get away with this with a black woman. These vague-ass conversations around values and politics and social issues, we're not the one. We want to get into the matters. We're not going to let you walk away with these vague answers and these vague... I don't know how he thought he would be able to get away with this with Virginia.
No idea. And this was before everything happened with the presidential race. So we thought it was going to be Biden v. Trump at this point, or nobody was thinking about it or whatever. Could you imagine if they got married and Kamala Harris was running and she lived with this man?
No.
I shudder
in Georgia,
to think.
not in Georgia, and in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
Isn't that Tim Walz' estate?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's so whack. He's so whack.
Even Tyler married Ashley. God damn. Like, and he had secret kids. Like,
many, multiple.
I feel like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's really interesting that she said she was trying to protect him because I felt like that was like that's a real thing. Like she really did not want him to look like a black conservative on television.
Like a black Trump supporter. Yeah.
Like she really said, I put myself second because I did not want to embarrass this man for who, like, I was really like, and I think, and not for nothing, they're the only black couple. I think she really was thinking about the optics and the politics of this season and was really thinking about what this was going to look like. And I think that even more to her credit. She didn't owe him, and she didn't owe him that.
No, she absolutely did not.
And I think she did that because she really genuinely thought that maybe they could end up together, and she didn't want to, cause, like, I don't think she had her mind made up, and so she really was trying to respect that about him, so that if they did end up together and then they're sitting on the couch at the reunion, people aren't like, well, you threw him under the bus, blah blah blah. Like she really went above and beyond in that regard.
Yeah. Virginia and Devin. Virginia, obviously, as you just said, was very aware of the optics of what this narrative looks like or what this character looks like. And he knows as well how he looks being a black male in these times, a black male Trump Republican, whatever, on national television. That's why he was so intent on not exposing himself. And that's why he looks even more like a fucking like just a weak ass dude, because you have this much shame around who you voted for. You're pathetic. Don't say, oh, I vote aligned with my faith, but then cower when anyone wants to have a deeper conversation because it's going to expose you. Say it with your chest.
That's right. If it comes from your faith and your most important connection in your life, which is to God or Jesus or whatever, then why are you ashamed?
Why are you so ashamed?
If you stand on this, then stand on it.
Stand on it. Yeah.
Right?
Stand on it. Yeah.
And I love how she was like, he said, did I vote with my faith? And that really rubbed me the wrong way, because I think this idea that there's, I know you all talked about this, I think last week on your episode, but like this idea that faith means one political ideology. And, I'm not a Christian, so I can't speak to the whole faith of Christianity. But what I can say is that there are people, I think Jesus would be one of them, who believes in supporting the poor and who believes in inclusion and who believes in reaching out and, embracing the refugee and all of these things. So this idea that faith actually means conservative, I'm so glad she pointed that out, because it simply does not. And it's very ick to allow far right conservative people to own faith when it comes to politics.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, Traci, as someone who you prefaced is not a Christian, and you still know that about Jesus.
I mean,
like,
everybody knows that about Jesus.
Jesus would not be a Trump supporter. Like, let's be real.
Let's be real. I mean, listen, you don't have to know a lot about Jesus to understand this. I mean, no.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was Devin. Just looked like a damn loser in the end.
God, loser and
such a loser. And they not having sex. And he's still. Oh yeah. So then she talks about the wedding present check that he got but never brought up, and so he a thieving ass nigga as well.
You also are thieving, hesitating to sign the prenup. Now we know why. You didn't want that shit to be 50-50?
No.
Yeah. Oh you absolutely wanted to negotiate if you got divorced.
And just like his mom and sister being like, she let a good one go, or these girls don't know what they want, and their narrative in their head as to who Devin is, and this inflated vision of their brother and son.
Is
that too?
Yeah, like these girls, like which girls say more?
Girls with sense.
Yeah, like
girls with discernment.
It was like very, and I think that's probably the kindest things they said.
That
like that's what they could air.
Right.
I would love to know
how they were talking terrible.
It definitely got ugly. I think between the families, but like whatever. And I thought, okay, did you all notice this year they didn't have the couples talk after the weddings in the way that they usually do? Don't you remember with Nancy and Bartiz, there was damn near a fist fight with the brother?
That was everything.
Usually this time they had them go in the cars and do a bachelorette leave where you're like talking to the camera. And I would have loved to watch
That's true.
Devin
that was missing.
And Virginia speak afterwards. And same with Sarah and
Ben.
Judas.
Yeah.
I really missed that this season because I feel like I needed a little bit of like face-to-face closure. Like I've been with you guys for 12 episodes. Like, may I please have this final talk through?
That's a good point. I didn't even realize that was missing. That's a huge. I wonder if they didn't film it or they just didn't show it. That I'm also wondering, because both of those conversations, I assume, was going to get really deep into the politics of it all and really deep into, again, putting Judas on blast for not giving a fuck about Black lives.
Right.
So I don't know if they have that footage. They chose not to show it because they didn't want to beat over a dead horse on this topic.
Maybe.
But obviously, we would have loved to see that.
I mean,
it would have been very validating.
You forced me to watch the first 11 boring ass episodes. May I please get some juice?
Let me get the juice. So anyways, our only couple to get married, the Christmas Killer and Taco Tuesday. Obviously, they both say I do. They also, we learn, aren't having sex.
So weird.
Very interesting.
They at least seemed like they wanted to have sex.
Right. They were ready. They're excited to get married and get this thing going. But beautiful, boring wedding. So that's them. All right, let's get into this review.
Wait, hold on. I want to say one thing. Sorry, one thing about the Christmas people. It is actually unbelievable that Christmas IG stalker boy is the guy who started the season as like, I'm short, blah, blah, blah. And he ends up winning the show.
Yeah.
Like, that is, I mean, it's
that's
a success
for
story for Love is Blind.
That is that's a win for Love is Blind. The short king won.
Usually the person who's like insecure about whatever thing that they talk about at the beginning of the episode, that ends up blowing up in their face. I feel like with Molly, like, right, she doesn't end up with anybody. I feel like in the past, those people that sort of have like something, the like rich guy from last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like they always start with those people who have like some really strong insecurity. And then those people usually never make it to the end. This guy not only makes it to the end, he ends up with a total babe. Like they like, or for him, his babe. She's not my type personally, but like I recognize she's hot, especially for him. Like they like each other. They seem to get each other's humor. Like it seems like a really happy ending for Short King. And I was really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because I sort of was like, oh, whoever starts with the insecurity at the beginning is going to flame out.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make it his whole personality, which I think was good. Like Leo, his money, it came up all the time. That insecurity came in the end to bite him. That's usually what it is. It becomes their whole personality. True. They get so fearful that people are going to judge them for this, whatever.
Right.
With the Christmas Killer, he kind of said it once and then was like, all right.
Yeah.
This is Love is Blind. They're not going to see my height. So,
let
me do this process. So,
yeah.
Shout out to him, I guess. All right. This reunion. I will say sleeves looked cute. I liked her dress. 89 degrees, not so much.
No, he always looks like he just went to Turkey all the time.
To get something, a refresher.
Something refreshed. Yeah.
A touch up.
I just thought his color palette was bizarre. He had on a brown suit with a red shirt underneath.
Yeah.
For a reunion show.
They should work together for their outfits.
They should coordinate. She was wearing gold and he was wearing brown and red. I was like, what? Very odd.
I also don't understand why the reunion dress code is prom.
Oh, it's like black tie.
It's like this
black tie, but it's
year
regular
especially. Everybody looked like they were going to prom.
Yeah, because they're trying to do housewives, but they're not housewives.
I know they should do like pajamas.
They should do
like pod chic.
Yeah, sweats, lounge
come as you are.
Yes, the whole it's too much, and I think Virginia looked amazing. I think Monica looked amazing. But the men looked dreadful aside from Christmas. Christmas looked okay.
Oh yeah, he had a nice tux.
He looked fine. She clearly kept him together. Devin's blouse.
Devin looked like he was wearing an outfit from a community black fashion show that I've been to. Like a local black fashion fundraising fashion show. Yes,
we have to support black-owned businesses. So I loved it. I loved it.
Don't be on Netflix looking like it.
Yeah,
a mess. So I thought Virginia looked incredible.
Virginia looked incredible. Also, tits out this reunion. A lot of the breasts were out and about and
out on display.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel and Taylor, nothing. Married for a year, still having a blast. He got her eyes tattooed on his chest.
Because he's a what? Killer. That ain't no murderous ass tattoo I've ever seen in my life.
It's one of the ugliest tattoos I've ever. And also that it was just like a rectangle.
Block. That I hated.
Just do the eyes.
Just do the eyes. Do the eyes. Do a little shading so you can see it's like on a face, but the block looked.
Or if you're gonna do the block, you need to have a whole chest of tattoos so that it's not such a sharp line.
Or get a face at that point. Get her whole face.
Oh my God. Great. That was his biggest fail of the finale of the reunion.
Everything.
It was and they were like, take off your shirt, and he was like, okay, like, why did he tell them that he had?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's something
hideous.
Interesting. They're not very interesting, those two. So. Anyways, okay, Devin and Virginia. So Nick is like, Virginia, what happened? Tell us everything. So she's just saying, like, we just weren't in alignment on certain things. He didn't want to talk about she said he didn't want to talk about his core values on camera. And I still won't do that for him, but I'll talk to you about my core values, which basically reveal what his are.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Great move. Great rhetorical device. Also, if you noticed, the voice she used was not the voice we heard her talk in all season. It was deeper. It was more full-bodied. She was embodying say it with your chest. Okay? Yes. Because a lot of times in the season, she had that really high voice. And she said, I will not speak for Devin, but I will tell you my core values.
Yes.
She also was giving first lady realness. Yeah. She had the hair.
She had the bob.
The
bob with a mean bump under. Ooh, yes. A mean bump under.
And when she smiled at the end, she said, I'm going to tell you my core values. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you so much. Love to be here. Vanessa, you look great. Everyone, it's just really, I'm just honored, and gay people should have rights. Abortion is something that women should have. And I believe that multiple religions are valid and welcome. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all next season on Love is Blind.
I love how she played that. I loved how she did that.
Yeah. Perfect. Pitch perfect. No notes.
No notes. Yeah. Devin just has the same old spiel. As a Christian, I think you love everyone. And I don't think you have to be aligned on everything.
That's a lie.
But also, okay, if these are your core values, right? I want to do an exercise. Think about your core values, ladies. Are you ashamed or embarrassed about your core values?
Speak on it.
Never.
Exactly. That's
there
the
are
whole
things
entire
I am
point.
ashamed and embarrassed about, but mostly those things are things that go against what I believe to be my core values. It's when I act in a way that goes against who I think that I am, right? Like the things I am the most ashamed about are times where I was maybe disloyal to someone. Like I should have been more loyal because that's something that I firmly believe in. Or it was a time when I excluded someone or I made a mistake about something that I hold to be true to who I am.
Right.
I am not ashamed about my core values.
Never.
And that says everything we need to know about him.
Right.
You don't even stand on business. You don't believe the things that you say. You say out your mouth, I'm a Christian. I believe everyone should be loved. You don't believe those things.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to talk about it on camera because you know what it makes you look like. And you yourself know yourself to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
When you say these things out your mouth, I love everybody, but I don't believe women should have, ownership over their body. I love everybody, but fuck gay people. They shouldn't get married. Like, you know how crazy you sound. That's why you hide in shame around it.
And you hide behind Jesus, which is a choice.
You hide behind. Leave Jesus out of it. We keep telling y'all.
Jesus out of this. He comes back to get you every time.
Yeah. And okay, I want to go back to one thing you guys talked about last week, because this is what I was really yelling about, not at you, but with you, friendly. When Devin talked about abortion, and he was like, well, don't you think that men should be able to weigh in on the conversation? And that's an argument that men use all the time. And I think that that's a personal thing. But that is not what choice is about. Choice is not about whether the father of the child and the mother of a child have the choice around abortion. Because the choice comes down to, even if they agree to have an abortion, is there abortion access in the place in which they live? So that has nothing to do. What you do personally about whether or not you get an abortion has nothing to do with abortion access. And conflating those two things and acting like, oh, your only issue is that women are secretly having abortions has nothing to do with the actual conversation around abortion access for people across the country. And I hate that straw man argument of like, oh, well, don't you think men should be part of the conversation? That's between you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, or husband or wife. That has something to do with the legality of abortion and the access to it. And I just, that shit pisses me off because it's such a bullshit, bad faith argument. I just had to go back to that. Fuck Devin. Okay, I'm done.
And also, like, a man, within a dynamic between a man and a woman, they're talking abortion, whatever, the man has every right to have his opinion. The end of the day, it's still the woman's body, and she still has the final say as to what she's going to do moving forward. Yeah. So we hear you, Devin. Yes, you can have an opinion, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the woman, her access and her choice being hers in the end. Okay. So anyways, is that what these guys, they just get us so riled up.
I know. It's so easy.
My blood pressure. So easy.
Oh my God.
Virginia, she dropped some other tea that was a contributing factor to her decision. She said the night before their wedding, she found a note from his ex on the nightstand. His defense is his ex is one of his best friends. He doesn't even think of her as an ex. And the letter was just her being like, I'm proud of you, friend.
What the fuck? Are you handwriting letters to people? Oh my God. Absolutely not.
Just odd. Yeah.
Very strange. Odd. And he was going to keep her around for a long time. Oh, yeah. Where is she?
But she's dating his friend?
I think he said she's
with his friend?
With somebody else now.
Oh, damn. He couldn't even cut it with her either? Oh, God. Shit, Devin. Damn.
She brings up again the check. The mom is the one who told her that her boss gave them a wedding gift, $1,000. That's a lot of money.
It could have been 20. It could have been 20. I want 10.
I want 10. I want my half. And she said he never told her about the check. They still have never talked about the check. He still won't talk about the check. Like, his defense, again, I was holding on to it until we got married. I wasn't hiding it.
Because she didn't deserve to know that it was there.
What a loser.
What a loser.
It's giving
You were hiding it.
It's
just
giving big.
That.
He likes Drake energy.
Oh, yeah. He probably was teenager.
This is Say Devin. I hear you like him young. No, I'm not. That's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a line from a song.
Yes. But he is giving hard body Team Drake.
Yeah, somebody else likes him young. We'll get to them later.
Oh god.
No, we won't because nobody fucking asked about
Nobody
it.
asked him.
Okay, but we'll get there. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then Virginia, her last thing was for his birthday, she made this whole big gift, like a gift basket or something, all kinds of stuff in it. And she called him downstairs to help her carry it up, and he made a whole stink of it. Couldn't you carry it yourself? Like, so just that, another little cherry on top. Like, you just ain't shit. You just ain't shit.
You're not even a gentleman. You even have no chivalry on top of all this.
What? So yeah, she said she, afterwards she tried to reach out to him to have conversations about things, and he ghosted her. He just stopped answering her phone calls. He's going around town claiming that she ghosted him. Molly and Madison both chimed in and said, "Yep, he told us that verbatim."
He said you were drunk.
Y'all were drunk. Y'all know
drunk whores, drunk gossiping whores, and you came up to me at the bar.
So he's just a liar. He's a liar. He's a thief.
Yep.
He ain't got the dick.
He ain't got no dick. And you voted for Trump, most likely. We good on you, Devin.
Absolutely good. Oh my God.
Ooh, I'm so happy Virginia saved herself.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
She's going to be the first lady of the United States. Okay. I don't know who she's going to end up with.
Right.
But also her mom is a politician.
Yes.
Representative. Yeah.
So this is very important to her.
Yeah. No, Virginia's going to be on CNN. I don't know. She's got a career in front of her. Her performance at the reunion.
Yeah, she carried herself very well.
Yeah. It gave Abby Phillip, right?
Yeah.
You know what
she's
I mean?
going to take Joy Reid's job at MSNBC. Fuck MSNBC for that, by the way.
Yeah. I can't believe that.
But no, she's...
Yeah, shout out to Virginia.
Shout out.
All right, Judas and Sarah. I thought Sarah looked great. I love this outfit she had.
Did you?
I loved it.
Was that black leather thing?
Leather, but the lace cut out, and she had a hair slicked back. I thought it was cute.
It wasn't for me.
So Judas,
Jonas brother.
Jonas brothers.
Jodeci.
Judas, of course, he wants to start. He wants to get in front of the narrative. He wants to talk first. I knew coming into this I had privilege. I was ashamed of that. I knew I had to grow. And
I hate it when people say they're ashamed of privilege. I hate it. You learn nothing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what he thinks he's supposed to say, though.
Yes, exactly.
That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
They need me to say that I don't want my privilege.
Exactly.
I'm ashamed of my privilege.
Nobody needs to know that you're ashamed of being a white man. That's not true.
Yeah. You love
That's
it.
not true. And no one's asking you to. No one's asking to be ashamed of it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he just starts there. I'm embarrassed by how the conversations went. And I just want to thank Sarah because they had a big impact on me, these conversations.
Clearly not.
Clearly not.
That's why you're not married now.
So she admits that she accepted a proposal knowing he had a lot to work on. She said, we all live and we learn. So I was trying to give him a chance. But the problem was that out of the pods, there was just still a lack of curiosity. Like, that didn't change. That is fundamentally him. He does not care about nobody else but himself.
God,
that was that. They questioned him about the stance of his church's stance on gay marriage. You kept saying you didn't remember. He still was saying, I didn't remember. I didn't ever need to know. And it just didn't impact my life. I'm not proud of that, but I didn't remember.
Okay. He said, because I didn't have any friends or family that it pertained to. But didn't he trot out a lesbian?
Sure did, who allegedly went to the church.
That's true. He did have a gay friend.
All these hired friends.
These hired friends. That's not a real friend.
Can't. Oh my God. Love it. The producers really fucked it up with that.
Yeah.
One.
The producers are blind on this season of Love is Blind. Babe, you trotted out your little diversity show. And you brought, because that moment was so weird. It was oh yeah, I'm also gay. Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big lesbian. Okay, cool. And then it was like, okay, cool.
He had never met that girl in his life.
Never.
Never. Mm-mm. So that was his first big, boo-boo on the stage. And then they bring up the girl from TikTok. And Sarah gives a whole, we haven't even talked about the girl from TikTok, a whole context of their time together after the show. So it sounds like they ended the show not getting engaged, but they were going to continue dating and still see each other. She says that she's a travel nurse. So she was actually living in Nashville. She had 3 more months on her contract. They had agreed that they were going to move to Nashville and do life there for the next 3 months together. Despite the fact that they didn't get engaged, they were still in agreement that they were going to do this together. He was down, no issue. She left to go to Nashville under the pretense that he was going to join her, drove the 12 hours, got there. He had removed her from Find My Friends. He was MIA. He wasn't answering her, basically ghosting her. Then finally sent her 3 very scripted text message apologies. And then they didn't speak for a month and a half until someone who we soon learned was Jimmy advised him to reach out to her so that they can start to rehearse for the reunion. And that's Judas.
Wow.
I mean, boom, right there.
Yeah, and he tried to lie on her and say that they broke up after that conversation, as if her story didn't include very specific details.
So many details.
Yeah. And his included 0.
Yeah. I was under the impression we'd broken up.
That we had broken up.
And when I break up with people, I don't talk to them anymore. It's just the healthiest way. But can we just backtrack a little bit? Because this to me is where Sarah gets a note.
Okay.
You said that these values were important to you. You said at the wedding you didn't want to get caught up in this circle. And yet right after the wedding, you're planning on him coming to be with you in Nashville for 2 weeks to 2 months. That's what she kept saying.
Yeah.
So was it all lip service?
Yeah. I mean, she also don't believe the things she says. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to be in this cycle of hope and hoping that he'll change, but you then got back into the cycle.
Immediately
and thought he'll change.
You never really got out of the cycle. You just didn't get married. But she sort of led us to believe at the weddings that she was done. When he was like, well, can we keep dating? And she's like, we'll see. And then she says to her mom and her sister in the bachelorette van, she's like, he wants to stay together, but like, I don't want to do it. Like, we are just so different, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing we hear is she was trying to date him and was hurt that he dumped her. That's what you get for trying to circle back with this guy.
Yeah. I feel like he's showed himself so clearly to her.
Yeah.
And so many more instances before this.
Right.
But here again, it's like she needed it to happen again.
Right. I feel like to her directly.
Right.
Yeah.
This is Judas. This is who he was in the pods. This is who he was when you confronted him about the girl from TikTok. Like, this is who he is.
Yeah, that's who he was with that girl from TikTok. She's now avenged. That girl.
I never saw that TikTok.
They were coming for her crazy.
She just said that he ghosted her. That was her big thing with him.
And that he was like manipulative and stuff. Like, she didn't give very specific examples, so it wasn't really that great. But until it hit her square in the third eye, she didn't really believe it was going to never work out between the two of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't really about Black Lives Matter or gay people.
No.
Right. It was about you being partnered. I wonder what this last straw was for him. Was it just that she was away and he was like, fuck it, I can't do this. I gotta go out to the bar.
Maybe because she embarrassed him.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's probably it.
That was probably it. And so,
weak man.
Very weak. We did get an email. I don't know if you saw this, Justine.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
On Reddit, people are talking about the editing that they did for the reunion. Apparently, there was a moment during the reunion, Sarah and Judas going back and forth, and he made a jab at her and said to her, "Nice hives, Sarah."
Oh.
And they edited it out. But people have since confirmed on Reddit, people that were there filming, that he did jab at her like that. So the man sucks. He just sucks. Like, we knew this from the pods, that this dude fucking sucked. So I don't know.
Why did he say that?
Because he's a dick and he sucks.
He's an asshole.
He's just an asshole. Yeah.
But also, like, his whole thing is like supposed to be
Such a Christian loving man.
Jesus loves all.
And like but even like more sinister, he knew going into the reunion, he was supposed to pretend to be a nice person. Like, what did she say that got his goat so bad that he couldn't even keep that like rude comment to himself for an hour and a half or 3 hours or whatever it was?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. He's just an asshole. You can only pretend so much to be the nice guy.
I wish we knew what she said, though.
To get him there. Yeah.
Because she must have said something good. Hey, anybody who knows that's what I DM me. Slide into me. Okay. Hit me up.
Next we have Joey and Monica. Monica came in locked and loaded.
She looked beautiful.
Great. She looked more Chilean than she's ever looked as well.
She looked better than she did at her wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all the women sort of did. I think those local makeup artists were not giving what the Los Angeles makeup artists were giving.
Yeah.
So she came in locked and loaded. She had a lot she wanted to get off her chest with Joey. She said, she agreed. She never said, I love you to him. He never said it to her. But watching back, she feels like she wasn't shown that he loved her. And she was really embarrassed by how much she put herself out there with Joey. I didn't really fully stand by what she was saying with that, because I feel like they both weren't really validating each other. Like, this is not going to be just Joey didn't validate me. He also didn't know what the fuck she felt about him either.
I feel like the no touching thing really got to her. And this is before they watched Tim and Alex, which is the same situation with Tim and Alex. Tim was like, I don't want to touch you. And she was like, we're going to make this work anyways. That's a telltale sign that somebody does not want to be with you. If you cannot express the way that I want to be loved, you don't love me. And a lot of people, this is the second couple in a row that the woman is not receiving it. And I find that to be very interesting that she stuck around anyways.
I did see what she was saying, though, about watching it back, because while she didn't say she loved him, I do think she really validated him. I think she was showing, like, watching the show, I felt like she clearly was more in it than he was. Whether she said, I love you or not, she was demonstrating a real effort to validate him and to support him and to show that she was into him. And I understand her saying, watching it back, how she was seeing things that she didn't see in the moment and how that was embarrassing and like really difficult for her. Because even for me, someone who's not in the relationship, as I'm watching it all unfold, I'm like, whoa, I misread this whole situation. So as it's happening to her, I can understand how that would be like, a billion times worse.
Yeah. We didn't meet his family. We only met hers. She was very defensive with the sister about him. Like, she tried the best she could without him validating her. And I will say, I wouldn't want to validate him first either.
Like, I think it was such heavy friend vibes from jump. That like
reveal was so weird.
The reveal all the way through, they never got to a romantic place ever at all. And so I don't know, I wasn't that shocked, I guess. And also, I just feel like they both were friend zoning each other. That's kind of how I read it. But I could see how she did put in more effort, or it seemed like she put in more effort. She came with some tea. She said that while they were engaged, he slid into Madison's DM, said to Madison, great seeing you. I guess after they met up at the pods or whatever. Great seeing you. I liked your pink hair. His defense is he was just trying to be friendly. And then they went on this
excuse.
They went on this whole thing about how Joey was telling Monica that Madison was trying to come on to him at the bars. Madison's obviously denying that. There was a whole moment where Madison and Monica confronted Joey together, and then he denied the whole thing happened and made Monica look like an idiot. Like,
a lot of Jezebels this season. Quite a few she came on to me situations. We got Lauren, who was the biggest whore, right? Villain. And then we have Madison too, got blamed.
Madison was involved. She was involved in a lot of things, though. I gotta say, she
did have her hand.
She had her hand in all the pots. She said, "Stir, stir, stir, baby."
Yes,
so this is TV.
Yep,
she was a producer plant.
But it was whatever. I feel like Monica and Joey, like she's watching it back, obviously embarrassed, seeing how much she really liked him. He wasn't giving her anything, and he's still getting to be the like golden retriever. Joey rides in on a skateboard, like everything's fine. I think she's really butthurt and mad about that. But I think it was just like they're just not compatible, and that's it. It's just move on.
Yep.
Also, when they were like, "Oh, we were physical a few times," and he was like, "Just once." I'm like, "Why are you being rude?"
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know what that's about. Like, whether it's just once or multiple times, it does not matter. You still got physical.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
But what's the point of clarifying just once?
Just once. Yeah, I don't
like,
know.
It makes it sound like, oh, it was a mistake. Like, I don't know. It was like he was trying to do something with just once. And I'm like, you're not doing what you think you're doing, bro. And I think of all the men, he had the worst showing at the reunion. Because going in, I was the least out. I was the most in on him. Like he was probably like the least repulsive of the guys. Right. And coming out of it, I'm like, ew.
The Madison the whole Madison thing.
The whole Madison thing, the way he said just once, I don't know. He really ended up, and then like blaming the sister. Like I get it. If the sister doesn't like you, that can be really challenging. Having like family dynamics that are not smooth with your in-laws is not great. I get it. But also, you didn't like her.
Right.
You also did not like Monica.
You didn't touch her.
Yeah.
You didn't want to sleep with her. You didn't tell her you liked her. Like you made no effort. So blaming it on the sister just felt extra like ick to me at this point in the game.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, they don't want to be the bad guy.
But they want to blame women for it.
Well, and I think Joey's whole personality is I'm not the bad guy.
I'm a good guy.
I think he's built his whole life around being the nice, fun. I like to longboard. I have long hair. I'm silly. I'm fun. Everybody wants to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And he hides behind that. And he really got exposed, I think, at the reunion more than anybody else.
Yeah. Agreed. Now, Dave and Lauren.
Oh,
she looked unrecognizable to me.
She looked great.
Yeah, her glam was great.
She had all that hair.
Liked her dress.
Yeah, her hair was very long.
I couldn't place her, and then I heard her voice, and I was like, "Oh, there she is."
So she calls out. She recognized, watching back the show, that her emotional maturity was like light years ahead of Dave. Obviously,
good for her.
Which I don't know why it took her watching the show back to realize that. Because
should have been during.
He said, well, my sister said like 10,000 times. On the 10,000th time, you didn't realize that this dude is a child.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So they haven't talked much in the last year. It seems like more recently they started talking. He sent her a message that she liked, very nice to her, that he finally gained the clarity that he needed around that guy and how much he was a leech, how much he was feeding all his friends and family, false information, and finally owned up to not supporting Lauren in those times.
It also took him, the show, coming out to realize that that guy was a leech. Ugh.
But I don't understand what actually came out. It must have been off the show because Lauren said all of those things that he eventually figured out was said. Like even when they went to that spin class that he couldn't do, she was like, well, he said her friends were like, yeah, he said like, wouldn't it be fun to like get on TV and like blow this whole thing up? So like that information was given to him in real time. Yeah. That's not after the fact information.
And it seems like, okay, when did they film this reunion? Not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
I think like last week, right?
Yeah. And it sounds like he sent her this text very recently. If you look on that dude's Instagram now, I mean, Trace, that guy's been in our DMs. Like the dude's nuts.
I heard
He's
that. I haven't looked him up. I haven't
TV.
seen him. Is he cute?
Like, no, he's too crazy. It's like impossible to even think about it.
Do you see how shallow I am? I'm like, is he cute? And we're both like, no. Does he want to come on a book podcast? I'll make you famous, babe.
But I think that's what he's referring to. Like in the last few weeks, he's been really showing his ass on Instagram, I see. It's
like
very
since
clear
the
now.
show started coming out.
Exactly.
I see.
So, which is also what the fuck, Dave? So the whole year went by. Last week figured out that this guy sucks. Like, oh my God.
There's no way this guy's personality you would know immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
So he thinks Lauren is the one that got away. She's not buying it. She's like, you've had my number all year. We see each other out all the time. Like, if you really wanted to make something happen, you could, but you don't give a fuck about me. Just be clear.
Did you all think that he liked her even before this came out?
Not one time.
Not one time.
Never.
I think he was trying with dating this type of girl, a teacher who's, more mousy. She's not like the Botox filler type of girl that I think he really dates.
Yeah.
And I think you can't deny Lauren's a nice person. So I think he could see that. Like, this is a good girl. I should really try to make this work.
Yeah.
But I think underneath it, like, I don't think he really actually wants to be with that type of person.
No, I don't think he values that type of person.
He doesn't value that type of person. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And as she said, she's like, you made it look like you had to choose between the devil and your family. And I hated being in that situation. And I could never get over that. He made her made me look like Satan himself, that your own sister couldn't meet me. Like,
right.
I would never give this dude another chance. Hell no. He claims he did give the sister the letter.
He did. It was in his pocket. You see how he exposed himself that he is the sister?
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this.
Yo, we still never met the sister. She wasn't even in the audience.
No,
we didn't get any like
Chiron,
a pan over. Sister. Yes,
she was over here.
Yeah. The back she was underneath the
left side of the brain.
Yes, it's big psycho energy,
big time.
Truly.
Yes, big horror movie energy. The sister, the chia pet at his house. God.
Yeah, Dave just looked like a big sorry loser. Just a grown man who just had to learn some real lessons for himself on national television, at the expense of this very nice young lady, Lauren.
Even Clay didn't go out this bad.
Yeah. Dave, this is you need to move to another city. It's a small city. Any woman walking around, he's not a viable option, ladies. Like, this dude is.
I don't think he had the worst showing.
He didn't have the worst. No.
I think Ben, Devin, and Joey all came off looking worse, because what he basically said was, I got it wrong and I played myself.
He owned it.
And I'm embarrassed by the fact that I got played by this other dude, and I really liked Lauren. Like, I think he had the best approach and follow up. He did get caught with the letter. She was like, you didn't give her the letter. He's like, I did. It's like, well, not that night. He's like, I did. She's like, well, I found it in your pocket. Well, not that night. Like, idiot.
Yeah. He's just so unattractive to me.
Yeah,
that's valid.
I mean,
this
he
archetype of a man
he sucks from the whole season, but I think the reunion was probably his best showing on the entire season.
The whole season, yeah.
He came in, he knew what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Come in with your tail beneath your legs and own everything and tell Lauren is the one that got away, and that's it. You can't do anything more than that, Dave. Because we're gonna come for you.
And don't weigh in on anybody else.
That too. Keep
your fucking mouth shut.
Last, we have Meg and Mason and Madison and Alex and
everyone who didn't get married.
Why didn't they bring Brittany back?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Britt was
if you're
missing.
Gonna bring Molly back,
right? Yeah. Justice. So, Molly and oh my god, Meg and Mason are besties. They tried dating, it didn't work. So that's a thing.
They're conspiracy theory parties.
Yeah, they're Joe Rogan listening parties together.
Ant farms and aliens, babe.
Yep.
And then Alex and Mason kind of come for Madison. Alex is saying, watching Madison was like watching two different people. Mason said, she led me to believe she was all in on me. And yeah, they were just like coming for her neck. Madison's just saying, like, I have nothing bad to say about Mason. I think he's great. Meg is like, but you're talking about him in interviews, calling him manipulative. And then they all kind of like go back and forth. And this whole who's Two-Faced? Alex is calling her Two-Faced. She's calling him Two-Faced. She whips out these screenshots to basically show that Alex was talking shit on Mason. I'm tired of these four. Honestly.
I know, the whole point of it was so bad. And I think Madison is really embarrassed that Alex was her number one and he ended up being a pedophilic freak. I think that was like so rough for her. And I think it'll be rough for anybody. And I think she probably wasn't allowed to say that on stage, but that's really what it was about. And I really wanted somebody to address that.
Me too.
Okay, Love is Blind producers, obviously you're listening. take from everything that Andy does on these reunions. Take from everything that your same company, Married at First Sight, does at these reunions. Why aren't people asking the hard questions in a way that you can ask them that's fair to everybody? That's like fair to the person answering the question. Because Andy
and fair to your audience.
And fair to your audience.
Like, hello, it's 2025. We're getting information about these people as the show is airing. You owe it to us to at least bring it up. You don't even have to ask a hard question about it, but you need to acknowledge it. Like, it needs to be in the official Love is Blind public record. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think they feel as if Love is Blind sits in its own like upper echelon of like elite dating reality shows, that if they go into the bring out the deleted scenes and all of that, they're going to bring down their stock and almost be like a messy show. Like, I think they really want to sit up here and keep things so neat and buttoned up. And this is Netflix. This is not Lifetime TV or whatever the hell, Oxygen. Like, they don't want to step down there. So they just kind of try to keep this facade, which is stupid because
it's stupid.
This is messy. This is the last 4 seasons we've gotten one married couple. Like, we're here for the mess at this point because that's what you serve to us on a platter.
Right.
Yeah, so
that's what you edit and put together. I think they're really self-conscious too about their casting and how old the show is. The show is not that old, and they've made some really shitty decisions. And I think pinpointing those shitty decisions is not what they think in their best interest.
Yeah, I think it's definitely both of those things. I just think that if you were to bring it up, and especially on the casting point, and acknowledge it, it actually gives me better faith around the casting. Because like, if you're like, look, all this information came out after you went on the show that's like really troubling, and we feel very uncomfortable with the fact that like you presented one, like he's talking about Madison's being 2 different people in the pods. I'm like, babe, you are molesting kids? You're giving kids alcohol? Like,
you know what I mean?
What?
You want to dress up like you're in middle school?
You're worried about her. Like, and I also, Madison was very different with the 2 men.
Yeah, she was acting a little wild.
But that's how it is. Haven't you had it in your past relationships? You have one dude that you're like really flirtatious with, and it's like really all about the sexual chemistry. And then another person where it's like, I really like him, and like we connect on a really deep level and whatever. And like, I don't think that shows that she's two-faced or a liar. I think she just was picking up and responding to the vibes that she was getting. And I think, I don't want to diagnose her with anything because I don't fucking know, but it's definitely true that people who go through a lot of trauma are good at being flexible with different people because it's a defense mechanism, right? Like, it's something that you learn. When your mom comes home and she's high, you respond to her different than when your mom comes home and she's sober or whatever it is, right? Like, she has all of these experiences and people dying on her and all this stuff. And I think we see how good she is at responding to situations in the moment, because even in the reunion, when they were throwing things at her, she was ready. Like, she had responses. And I think that's just who she is. Like, I think she's quick. I think for better or for worse, she's quick. She's always going to defend herself and protect herself. And I think that can come off as like really unlikable for certain people. But I was like, I don't have a problem with her.
No, me either.
Like, you have a literal person feeding alcohol to minors.
That's what I'm saying.
And like, we're fighting over whether or not she manipulated
in the pods.
Matt, what's his name? Mason, into telling her he liked her more. Like, please. Mason, get a fucking backbone. Right. This is supposed to be your wife?
Yeah.
Right.
And then he was like, I own everything, and Madison made me do it. I'm like, that's not how I own everything works.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it does suck that Madison had to like fall on the sword of the whole, because to deliberate and to litigate Alex's craziness on stage would make the show look real bad. What were you guys doing casting this guy?
Casting him. Right. Yeah.
It would put them on a spotlight.
But not doing it makes Madison look like she's a villain when there's a literal villain in real life.
That was their saving grace.
Yeah.
Let's throw her under the bus so that we can protect the sanctity of the show. It's the same last season with Tyler and Ashley. They didn't ask Tyler anything.
Right.
And why? Because they needed to protect the sanctity of the show. Otherwise, every single guy on stage last season was garbage.
Right.
Like, we got to protect Tyler, so we have one thing out of this season,
Right. Right. Yeah.
sucks. Yeah.
And then Meg like attacking Madison. I'm like, that's not even your dude, girl. Like,
right.
Why are you
and also, Alex
her?
is not your friend. Look at these screenshots. He's talking shit about you guys. Like,
yeah. The whole thing. I'm just, I don't know. I don't even like Madison, but I do feel the need to like defend her because I feel like they really went after her when everybody was ick in that quad.
Right.
And some were really ick. Like everybody was ick on the show, and then we find out that some of you are real life villains and monsters.
Yeah. So that was basically the season. I mean, they kind of wrap up the reunion. We see AD and Ollie come out on stage to plug Perfect Match season 3. We see that they are now engaged.
That's
Ollie and
wild.
AD. Very interesting. Are they on Perfect Match season 3? Like, did they meet?
Are on. They met on
They
Perfect
met
Match.
there.
Wow. Oh, so that was filmed even before the last reunion.
Yeah.
Before,
Because she referenced being with someone.
Wow, so they've been engaged this whole time. So yeah, another Love is Blind, a crossover
excuse
couple.
Me? They had I thought you were moving on to the last part. I was like, the singer.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Right.
Yeah. Girl, what?
As soon as the first note came out, I said, oh no, I don't know.
Yeah. I was like forward.
Well, I fast forwarded through it till I got towards the end, but they had dancers.
I saw that
too.
Yeah.
Like
it looked quite liturgical.
Yeah, it was. They were like
it was giving praise dance.
They were like pretending to like stand outside the doors and like face each other and like lift their hands and like reach to each other.
Why was that
Some
necessary?
Of this shit, Netflix? You could tell. You know, it's Vanessa Lachey's idea. You know what I mean? Only she would think of some corny, dumb shit.
Is this included? Yeah,
for this free SoundCloud artist to have a spotlight. I thought it was Alex at first. I was like, is he singing
looked
too?
Just like Alex. He did look just like Alex.
Look the same.
Season 9 is going to be in Denver.
Yikes!
One of the worst seasons of Married at First Sight was in Denver.
Yep.
that season honestly put me off the show. So Denver, you got some big shoes to fill because Lord Jesus.
I expect more politics to come up.
You do.
Yeah, Colorado's very purple, isn't it?
Very purple.
Well, they've moved really far blue. They were purple in like 2008, but now they're pretty solidly blue state. I think they actually all 3 department or chambers of their state government are blue.
They didn't go Trump this last election. Oh shit!
I don't.
Interesting.
Let me double check. I don't think they did. Let's see, Colorado.
Then it should be this should be very political then, because we keep hearing from our Colorado listeners that it's red everywhere but Denver.
Yeah, that it's like a blue dot type of thing. Let us know in the comments, y'all. Love is Blind Denver. Y'all live in Denver. What's the dating scene like? What do we have to expect? What are we getting into? What are the men like?
Are there transplants? Maybe that's the thing with Minnesota. There's no nobody's moving.
Everybody
there
was
work.
from there. Yeah,
everybody's from there. So Denver.
Kamala Harris won in Colorado.
Really?
She won
54 to 43. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I not to talk about myself, but I worked on the Obama campaign in Colorado in 2008 when it was like a true swing state. And so I've always really paid attention to the state broadly because I worked in one of the reddest counties, but there's some blue there's some blue stuff in and around Denver, but then kind of going down the western slope happening. But it also has like Colorado Springs, which is like so red and like so terrifying. So there's definitely some.
Okay.
I think politics could come up, but it'll be interesting to see how it shows up.
Yeah.
Very curious. Denver. I don't know much about Denver at all. What are we about to face next season? Top 5 moments in Love is Blind history.
This was stupid.
This was so true.
Not true.
Not true.
Garrett's glow up at the reunion. That was one of the top 5 moments.
Absolutely.
That's not even one of the top 100 moments to me.
Literally. I did not care about that moment. Like, I thought one that was missing last season, Hannah and Nick's reveal. Hannah seeing Nick not look like Travis Kelce was one of the funniest reveals I think ever.
What about the Clementines? The Clementine fight,
Absolutely.
or like Zainab and Cole, or the abortion conversation, or the fight between Nancy's brother and Bartiz.
Bartiz, what's her name? Telling Shake to go fuck himself.
Oh yes,
Deepty's moments.
And shout out to Deepty. She's been getting a lot of hate online because
she has.
Shout out to Deepty, yeah. Because she like looks different. Whatever. Fuck you. Shout out to Deepty.
Yeah,
also, one of my top favorite moments, Gianna running down the highway in Atlanta away from what's his name, Frank, or whatever the fuck his name was, Freddie. Oh my God. Her mother, Damien.
Yeah.
And her mother running. Come back. Miriam, come back.
Her slipping in the dress. Yeah.
What about I think it maybe was Cole's. Whose bathroom had like flies in the toilet and shit?
That was Cole. Yep. Ugh. Another Giannina moment when she outed Damien for his weak dick.
Iconic.
There's just so many better moments of the show.
So many better moments.
Mm-hmm. But even like it was like Cameron and Lauren's reveal or whatever.
No. And they don't sanction their likeness to them. So I don't know where.
I was just like, this is stupid.
I think they have to include that in the top 5 because it's Cameron and Lauren.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. Do their wedding.
Right. Yeah.
More than their reveal. Okay, yeah.
I don't know. But even still, it's not, I don't know. But it was stupid. Garrett's glow up was by far the stupidest one. So they did get number 1 right, though. You
think? Jessica roasting Jimmy? That's not my number 1. That was a great moment.
It was great, yeah. It belongs in the top 5.
My 1 and 2 are both Jimmy. They're the Jimmy ones that made it. The You'll Choke and I Look Like Megan Fox. Those were the 2 most iconic. A great one too.
What was Jimmy's face too when she said Megan Fox? He almost like looks in the camera like,
yeah.
Wait, what, guys?
What was the 5th? What was the other one? The glow.
Jerame getting caught.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Laura. That was a good moment too.
That was good. Yeah.
Guys, why is the pool of single men this rough? What are we taking away from why is this happening again?
Well, I think this says something about the city that we're in. I think this told a lot about Minnesota.
Yeah,
right?
Minneapolis
and Minnesota as a state, I would dare to say. And I think that's what Love is Blind does. That's why Love is Blind is so interesting. It gives us a view into what's happening into the city. And I thought this was going to be much more similar to Charlotte, North Carolina than it was. It was so conservative,
so different,
so many different ways.
Very different.
Yeah, people are hiding a lot. I can't believe people were not fucking and not telling their political beliefs. That is so weird.
Yeah, it's that Midwest like nice nasty thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like the pool of single men is rough, obviously. I think the pool of single men going on TV to find love is specifically what we're examining here. Mm-hmm. And of course, that group of men is going to be more prone to narcissism and manipulation and just being shitty. And production hasn't yet, which is part of our big frustration. They're not getting creative as to how to vet these people better, how to cast more Camerons and Bretts and less Jerames and Daves. They haven't figured out that process. And I think a few of them obviously are going to slip through the crack, but why, like season after season after season the men just seem to be getting worse. Like, I will never forgive them for putting Tyler on television.
Never.
I'll never forgive them for that. It's just
that was crazy.
That's crazy.
And I think also like the men who and I think like a show like Love is Blind, which has become so popular, is gonna draw a certain kind of like fame hungry man. Yeah. And I think like and I also think even though the stakes are high in the sense that you get married at the end, the stakes are only high for the show if you choose to get married. So you can fuck around and hang out and do whatever you want. Like you're not even on camera all the time. Like it's not like The Bachelor where you're even really isolated from your people. Like they're all hanging out with their friends, seeing their family. Like it's a very low lift for the contestants, I feel like. And so I think you're also getting people who are just like unserious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. Traci, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for letting me come on. I begged. So I appreciate you. Natasha, thanks for giving me a final approval. Have to get past the mean judge.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome. Tell everyone where they can find your podcast, what you're up to.
You can find me on Two Black Girls, One Rose. I'm the new co-host. I'll be here forever. Can't make me leave. No, you can find me on The Stacks. That's my podcast. It's about books. It's called The Stacks Podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, Instagram at The Stacks Pod. And I think later this week or next week, I write a column on shereads.com. So this is a preview, but I'm doing book recommendations for the contestants on Love is Blind.
Oh,
So
I love that. Oh, that's fun.
That'll be coming either Thursday or next Thursday, depending on if I get my shit together.
Nice. Well, thank you, Traci. Everybody go check out the stacks and all of the amazing things she's up to. Rate, review, subscribe, sound off in the comments on Patreon. We had a lot of call outs. Help us make sense of this whole season. Join the Rose Garden on Patreon, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.